Hey, so what's up guys? I decided to come at you guys with a little new one today. So with this one, we're going to see just how I went about making this video. So with this video that I created with my character Jade, the idea was to first put her in a boat and she was probably going to be fishing. That was the idea that I had. And you can see all the positions I was trying to put her in just to make her look fancy when sitting on the boat, and maybe someone else was going to be fishing. I was even thinking that maybe someone else would jump onto the boat, and then I thought a little bit deeper and I figured, why not just put her in the foreground, have birds in the midground and the sun in the background doing its sparkly thing, and then she kind of just does this little wonderful motion where she comes up and just kind of flicks her hair back and she kind of just poses for the camera at the end. Now I'm thinking that I might just go ahead and make this animation a little bit longer. For anyone that's actually seen it, it's about 3 seconds long or so, but through this little sped up session here, we're going to see just how much work actually went into this little animation, which was actually pretty fun to actually kind of animate, but it actually takes quite a bit, guys. So as you can see here, I'm kind of animating her keys. I'm trying to get used to who she's going to be throughout this scene, how she's going to portray herself, the kind of sexy form that I was going for. And take note, at this stage I ain't even got no shading yet. I'm kind of just working on the fly here. I have not done any kind of thumbnails of such, because I could have really kind of flattened things down and said to myself, I can see exactly how this scene's going to play out. There's a painter on, I believe, DeviantArt, and you might find this painter on YouTube, named porforever, and that person does some great thumbnails before he or she starts their project, and once they finish their project at the end, it's just a masterpiece, as it were, and someone who I do want to learn a lot from and implement a lot of their style into my own work. That's just for starters, guys. So as you can see here, I'm working now on my Jade, but like stated before, I'm just on the fly here. So I've just like said to myself, I have this idea in my head and I need to get it down from my stylus onto my screen and try and make it look as good as it does in my head. Now, what was the image that I had in my head? I didn't really have an image, guys. I just knew that I wanted her to throw her head back and turn and look at this camera. All of this was from sitting on a boat, probably rocking on a boat, and maybe the boat kind of, you know, swaying a little bit while she or someone does a little bit of fishing. And the original idea was to have her reach down into the water and probably just yank a fish out of the water without having to use the fishing rod, which would have been quite hysterical, as it were, humorous. But then I decided to go with something a little bit more challenging, something that I thought would look a little bit more beautiful. I was actually quite tipped off a little bit as well, and I figured it was quite a good idea. I can't remember who it was that gave me the idea at the time. And so this is what I started drawing. So I did have a lot of fun, like I said, and it is something that I want to maybe kind of use as like an introduction or like a promo towards one of my comics, or maybe multiple versions of my graphic novels, because now Jade is like the main character of my work, guys. But I do want to use Bundio as like the main link into her kind of succession as to being or somewhat being uphold, as it were, into the main lead, meaning that I might have options about going, or ways about going about how I may have her become the lead protagonist, as it were. So as you can see, I put my own border around the screen. This will make it a little bit easier for me to stay constraint, keep my drawings constraint within the box that I'm working in, and also for when I'm getting ready to color, I can just kind of like flat color her without worrying about my colors going all over the place. So this is me drawing my finished render lines now. So this is some of the work that you will see at the end of the video of what I have published on my YouTube, and I believe I'll put this on my LinkedIn and my Twitter as well. I'm sure you saw the how the birds were flying, but something that I must address is the skybox. As you can see, the sun is nice and blurred. I kind of preferred how this one looked, but I had to scrap it, and the reason why is because the clouds were behind the sun, and as we know, guys, clouds don't persist. They don't operate behind the star. So at this stage, I don't think I had fully noticed it yet because I was so busy with working with Jade at this stage. I got this wild idea as well that because I have Jade and I have Mel in a fight scene or like a climax scene in one of my very recent uploads. I think it was like 2020, maybe 2021, and Mel's walking towards Jade in the water, and I just wanted to kind of capture that moment of someone's feet like trading in the water, as you know, like the camera kind of is like in front, and you're just focusing on the feet because they're things that I find hard to work on. I was thinking maybe I might continue with that, which is why I chose the color of her bra. It's the same color that she's wearing back then, and they're supposed to go into like a training sparring match. But here, as you can see now, I'm able to flat out those colors, put those colors in, block up any lines that are exposed to fresh air, as it were, um, or pixelated antibodies, I guess you could say. But as you can see, I haven't noticed that the skybox behind her is ruined. But this was actually my favorite background scene because the blur was like perfect. Another thing as well is when you're working through 2D animation, the workload does get tedious, and I did all of this. I guess it took it did span over a few good hours, and I spread those hours over 3 days. So as you can see, there's where I changed the skybox, and this is why, because I was working on the character, and because I just kind of went with it, I just upped and went. I didn't exactly kind of fumble nail it to get a fresher idea in my head. So that took a little bit of time, and I had a little bit of errors and a little bit of backstepping. And then obviously I did the birds, that was easy. I did the skybox, and then I did the water, and I animated her and I colored her, so it did take a little bit of time, and trying to get the right colors for the background. And then I went over again and gave her an extra shadow shading effect, which is where it seems like there's a stronger dominant light behind her, and so that shadow that you would get in front of her, and then it goes by really quickly, but I was able to get the caustics kind of flowing up her body, and I put a cell effect to that, or I could say a cell shaded effect to it, and once I applied that to her, it blended in really well. So that's how I was able to get successful or accomplish this little clip for you guys. So as you can see, it was hard work, guys, because when you're working on this, it is a lot on your eyes, it is mentally straining, and unless you really do love 2D animation, it can be really tedious because it is repetitive work as well, guys. But I loved it, I enjoyed it, and the work, the finishing, the payoff, the payload was just beautiful and wonderful, and that's why I shared it with you guys. It's something that I heard to put in my promo. But anyway, guys, it's your boy Patience. Leave those likes, those thumbs, the comments down below, and if you have any queries, guys, over and out.
Hard work, hard work, your boy, hard work. He put